Hi, I'll be taking your 2025 June paper. Let's study it together. It's basically based on your concepts, and if your concepts are clear, the paper should be easy. Let's read it. Mrs. Ankita, aged 50 years, a resident individual and practicing company secretary, furnishes the receipts and payments for the financial year 24-25. Now, if you see, this is nothing but a receipts and payment statement. From there, first thing that I want to do is figure out under which heads of income she is receiving the money from. So, first one, opening cash balance. That means it's last year's, we won't take that into because that's not income actually. Fee for professional services. Can I say it is income from business profession? Rent from house property. House property. Motor car loan from SBI. Now, if you see, this is a loan. This is a capital receipt. It is balance sheet. It comes in your liability. We will not take it as under any head of income. It is just information given. We'll see how to use it. Interest from saving bank account. Now, interest from saving bank account is nothing but income from other sources. It should also strike you that interest from saving bank account is allowed as a deduction under 80 TTA. Okay, max 10K for the whole year. Now, let's see the expense side and see where we can put in the expenses under which head of income. Salary, you can say it is income, expenses for business profession. Admin expenses, business profession. Office rent, business profession. Housing loan repaid to SBI. Can I say this is nothing but your house property related? Life insurance premium, 10% of sum assured. So this is a deduction I'll get under 80C. Motor car acquired on 1st June. This is an asset. I will not put anything, but I'll think that I can put in depreciation if it is related to business. Medical insurance premium, 80D, I can take that. Books bought, annual publication. If there is annual publication, I can get a depreciation on it related to business. Okay, how much? 40% depreciation is allowed. Earlier 100% was allowed, now only 40 is allowed. Computer, again it is an asset, but I can claim depreciation, 40% depreciation is allowed. Public Provident Fund, PPF, 80C deduction. Motor car maintenance is allowed provided it is related to business profession. Assuming, let's say if it is business, this closing balance. Closing balance is not income, expense, nothing. We'll not take that. Let's see what are the adjustments. She occupies 50% for her own. So if this is house property, 50% is SOP, 50% LOP. For her own residence, 50% is let out at a monthly rent of 5,000. So can I say for the whole year, gross annual value, because nothing else is given to me, annual value, earning capacity of the house is nothing but 60K. The building was constructed in the year 97-98. So it should strike you that when the housing loan was obtained, so the building was constructed before 1/4/99. If before 1/4/99, the deduction under section 24B, that is your house property interest on loan, is subject to only 30K. If it is after 1/4/99, then your interest on loan is no limit. Okay, we are talking only about SOP. Here the SOP part, the interest on loan will be subject to 30,000 only interest. So whenever we calculate, you remember this. Motor car was put to use for both official and personal purpose. 1/5 of the motor car is used for personal purposes. So now you see you had put motor car maintenance. So you will take 4/5 for business profession, the depreciation. Also there is motor car loan. Okay. So the interest on loan, the 4/5 of the interest can be taken as an expense for business profession. Okay, now written down values are given. Beautiful. If written down values are given, you can find the depreciation. So depreciation you can find out which will be allowed as an expense for business profession. Furnitures and fittings 10%, plant machinery 15%, computers 40%. But there is one more computer that they bought, so we will add that. We'll see if it is used for 180 days or more. If not used, then you will take half the depreciation percentage. Okay. Now, you are required to give the following answers assuming she has shifted out of the default tax regime. So she is under 115 BAC. Compute the income chargeable under house property. Then we'll find the depreciation. Compute the total income under business profession. Compute the total deductions under section 80 and total income. Okay. So let's start the first one. Very easy. Income from house property. Concepts clear. Just let's brush it before we go. She's using 50% of the building for her own residence. So it should strike you. 50% is SOP. Earning capacity of that house is going to be 0. LOP. She's earning 60,000 in a year. 5,000 per month. Okay, so that will be her annual income, gross annual income. Nothing mentioned about municipal taxes over here, so we will ignore it. Okay, interest on loan taken for house. Where is her interest on loan? $80,000 is interest on loan, but 40,000 related to SOP, 40,000 related to LOP. If there is SOP because it was constructed before 1499, your loan will not be 40,000, it will be 30,000. Okay, let's see. Annual value, let's take SOP will be nil, 30,000. Now, so your loss from SOP will be 30,000. Finish. Let's go to LOP. Easy. No municipal taxes. So directly come to NAV. NAV, you get two deductions, interest on loan and 30% of NAV. NAV you have 30% you get. Whatever you get is income from let out property. Total income under easy, super easy. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Calculate the depreciation. Let's see what all assets we can see, and we'll just see the percentage of depreciation for each one. So I can see a motor car which was acquired on 1st Jan. Okay. You'll take a depreciation over here. But since it is Jan, Feb, March, less than 180 days, so the depreciation percentage will be only 15%, half So your normal depreciation for car is 15. You'll take only half of that because it is used less than 180 days. Okay. Similarly, let's see books. Books depreciation is 40%. Computer acquired on 112. So December, Jan, Feb, March, less than 180 days. So you will get half depreciation, which will be 20% for this asset. Okay, what other assets they have given you? See here, furniture 60,000, 10%. Plant and machinery 80,000 and computers 50,000. So what is, I'll give you the format. How do we do this? Just recap. Written down value of asset, opening balance. Let me start with plant and machinery, which will also include motor car. Okay, opening, add purchases. Format remains the same. 4,25,000. less sale, there is no sale. Okay, written down value, whatever you get for the year, 80 plus 4,25,000. Okay, you get less than 180 days, others. That is full. Okay, less than 180 days, you will take 7.5% depre. And here you will take full 15% depreciation. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. 1 minute. But also motor car, you have to remember, this is out of the 4,25,000, you have to take only 4/5. 4,25,000. 4 divided by 5. You'll get 3,40,000. Three lakh 40. Why 3,40,000? Very important. Okay, because it says 4/5 is used over here. Motor car 4/5 is used for business and 1/5 is used for personal. So depreciation also will go like that only. 4,25,000 into 4 by 5, which will give you 3.4 lakhs. Okay, this is how you will do it for depreciation, and that's how we do it for all our assets. Okay, motor car. Then books being annual publication, what did we say? We'll take 40%. Furniture fittings. Okay, we already, so you'll do that for computers. Same thing. That will be 20%. Okay, so how we did for machinery? Same to same. You will have to do for your all other assets. So plant and machinery includes motor car. Okay. Then furniture directly 10. Let's go for computers. Opening they have already given you 50. Add purchases. Purchases of how much? 30,000. There is no sale. You have to just put in bracket less than 180 days so that you remember. No sale. Whatever you get is closing 80K. Out of which less than 180. Take half depre, that is 20%. Others. Full depre you will get into 30K. Give you 6K. Others is full 50 to 40%, which will give you 20K. Okay, that is what they have done. You get total depreciation. Add everything, you get total depreciation. Easy, not difficult at all, because you just have to remember. This is again simple. Now let's go to the next part. Compute the total under the heads of business profession. Now business profession, what is his income? You can see here, take it in a different color. Okay, this is income from business profession. Okay, this all is the expense. I can subtract minus 21 lakhs minus 11 lakhs 50 minus 30,000 rent. Okay, all this is easy. Now motor car, all depreciations we have already calculated. We will subtract the depreciations also. 77,500. Okay. Now, what else have we missed? Just have a look. There is depreciations we have taken. Now, if you see here, motor car is taken on a loan. So, it should strike you at 9% loan. You will have to pay interest, and this interest you can claim as a deduction. So, 2,40,000 is the loan taken. Okay, 9% is the yearly interest. When was the loan taken? Jan, Feb, March. So 3 months interest into 3 divide by 12. So see here I am doing this. Okay. So if the loan taken is 2.4 lakhs into 3 by 12 into 9 months, 3 2%. Okay. Now of this you will take only 4/5 because 1/5 is the car is being used for something else. Okay. So see here what you will get. 4320. Okay, that is interest for the car. What else can you see? Motor car maintenance. So you'll take 4/5 over here. 16,000. This is easy. So see, have we covered everything? This is the income. These are direct. Okay. Depreciation we already took. Got it? Now, they are then asking you what are the deductions. Now, see your deductions again. We can take another color and what all deductions we can see. Housing loan, they have repaid 1,88,000. Okay, remember under 80C you get a deduction for housing loan repaid also. Okay, but provided you are in the limit. Life insurance again 80C. So now because you have repaid out of 1,88,000, can I say 1,08,000 is the repayment of the housing loan principal amount plus 24,000, sorry, plus life insurance premium plus 80C 20,000. So I'm getting 1,52,000. Maximum deduction 1,50,000. Okay. So you will take a deduction of 1,50,000. Medical insurance, fine. Interest from saving account we saw. These are the deductions available. Easy. Here, medical insurance was there. Books bought. Sorry. Then after medical insurance, there is PF, which we already took, and there is interest from savings bank account. You should know it will be under 80 TT. These were all your deductions. Okay, I think we have completed this sum. This sum was 15 marks. Oh, sorry. Now you have to find out the income. 5 heads of income, which is the easiest. You have already computed income from house property, income from business profession, income from other sources. That was only your interest. Gross total income less deductions will give you total income. Easy. Okay. Take a 5-minute break. Let it digest. Let us come to the next one. Question number 2. Again, read the sum slowly, see whatever markings. When you are reading, this is how generally I do it. When I am only reading the sum, I put my markings that okay, I will remember that these things have to strike me, or this is under this head of income. Okay, Mr. Sunil, age 63 years. So it should strike you, okay, he is a senior citizen, a resident individual, gives the following of his receipts for the year 24-25. Installment received from the bank under reverse mortgage arrangement. What is the meaning of reverse mortgage? Let's take a step back. Reverse mortgage is basically my money. Okay, I have given an asset, my house, I have given it to the bank that take my asset, but you give me money for that asset. Okay, and this the asset, the money that they give is over a period of time. I have mortgaged my own asset and I am receiving money from the bank. It is basically a kind of a sale. Asset is gone, money is coming over a period of time. I am allowed to stay in that house till I receive my entire money. Generally, old people do it, realizing that listen, I have no other source of income, or this entire house doesn't is not generating any income for me. The value of this house is say 2 crores. The bank has to give me over a period of say 20 years, 25 years. I'm already 60 years old. I may not live for more than 30 years. So what I do, I reverse mortgage it and the bank gives me money every month. Is it an income per se? No. Okay, it is an asset. For that asset I'm receiving money. So reverse mortgage is not a receipt per se. It is exempt under section 10. Interest on term deposit. So interest on saving bank deposit, you'll get a deduction under 80 TTA. This is income from other sources. Interest of bank saving 45. 10 80 TTA 10K is allowed as deduction. Income from other sources. Pension received from central government. I am receiving income from salary. STCG on sale of dining table and chairs. Now it should strike you that capital gains on personal assets. If I use my table, chair, bag, watch, all of these, okay, my bag, my shoes, if I sell it, make a profit, it is not going to be taxed under capital gains. Okay, so my assumption is my dining table and chair where I'm eating, I'm not making any money out of it, or it is my personal asset. So this ideally should not be taxed because I will take an assumption this is a personal asset not subject to capital gains. You can make an assumption. See, now these kind of questions where assumption can be made. Dining table and chair not considered as a personal asset. Ideally, it should be considered as a personal asset, but if it is not, could be some premium luxury item, collector's item. Okay, so not considered as a, then you will subject it to capital gains. I am taking it not subject to capital gains because it is a personal asset. You should know that personal assets are not subject to capital. Personal. Easy, just have to write one line subject to assumption taken, it is a personal asset. Makes a logical assumption that my dining table and chair cannot be taxed. Income from dairy farming business. This is income from business. Okay. Now with this, compute Sunil's total income for the assessment year 25-26, considering that he has opted the benefit of default, he has opted the benefit for the default tax regime under 115 BAC. Okay, very good. Now, if he has opted for the beneficial tax, that is 115 BAC, we call it the new tax regime or beneficial tax regime, it should strike you. Your deductions under the specific heads, like income from salary, will be 75,000. It will be on the higher side. You will not get any other deduction. So, your interest on saving bank account, you will not get. Okay. So, income from salary, pension from central government, 75,000 allowed as a deduction because he is under the beneficial tax regime. Okay, income from business profession, 50,000. Income from capital gains, 0 because it is a personal asset. There is no, it is not a capital asset, hence there cannot be a capital gain. Income from other sources, installment received under reverse mortgage, not a income. Interest on bank deposit, interest on savings deposit, all you will take as it is, no deduction. Okay, total income, because he has taken not allowed under new scheme 15 BAC, you get a higher deduction over here, 75,000, but you will not get, if it was the old tax regime, you would get 50,000. So you want that benefit or the deduction benefit that you decide. Okay. Now, they have not only asked his total income, but also his tax liability. Tax liability is easy. Okay. Up to 3 lakhs, 0. 3 lakhs to 7 lakhs, 5%. 7 lakhs to 8 lakh. Now, over here, he is earned only 8 lakh 20. Okay. Otherwise, it is 10 lakhs. So, you find the total tax, no rebate you will get over here. Add the cess and it is done. Okay. Now, let's read the second question. Ramesh. Ramesh, for same thing what we did. Okay, whenever we read it, short term capital gains. So this will be capital gains, I can write. Loss from speculative business profession. Long term capital gains on sale of land. LTCG. Long term capital loss. This is capital loss. Okay. From sale of shares. Income from business of textiles. This is normal business profession. This is speculative business profession. Okay, income from salary, that is computed and given to you. Income from salary, it is basically calculated and it will be taxed. Loss from, so when you are doing pension, part is uncomputed, some part is computed lump sum amount that he has received. Loss from let out property, house property. Okay. Loss, share of loss from firm. It should strike you the partnership firm has already paid or taken the benefit of the loss. The share of profit or loss is not going to be taxed in the hands of the partner. Share of profit or loss is not going to be taxed in the hands of the partner. And why is that? Because the partnership firm is paying the loss or the profit, the tax on the profit. So we don't have to take it. This is given to confuse you. Okay. Following information is also given. Brought forward loss from textile, and this is the 8th year. So in the 8th year they can take benefit. What is the loss? 1 lakh, and there is a loss of 1 lakh 20. So there is still a 20,000 loss, but you can't carry it forward beyond the 20,000 loss. You can't carry it forward. Compute gross total income for the assessment year 25-26 if he has exercised the option of shifting out of default tax regime. So you can take all the deductions possible. Okay. Let's see how to go about it. Ramesh income from salary 2 lakhs. Loss from house property you can set off against any head of income of that particular year. So you get this. Profit and gains of business first. You will take 1 lakh. So you don't, there was 1 lakh profit. There is a carry forward loss of 1 lakh 20. You cannot do deduction and take more benefit out of it. Maximum you can take 1 lakh. So you don't have to pay any tax there. Okay, loss of firm, that is not allowed to be set off. It is the firm's share of profit or loss is not for you to take benefit of. Capital gains. Short term capital gains 3 lakh 80. Long term is 60,000. Long term capital loss of rupees 3 lakhs on sale of shares set off to the extent of 60,000. So long term can be set off against long term. Okay. Balance loss of 2,40,000 to be carried forward. Okay, up to assessment year 33-34. So 26-27, 27-28, 29-30, 30-31, 32, 33 and 33-34. So total 8 years you can carry forward this loss. See, now this loss from speculative business cannot be set off from normal business. That you should know. Speculative businesses like betting or those kind of businesses only can be set off for that particular year only, and it can be carried forward to 4 years only. Long term capital loss balance can be set off against short term or against any other head of income. The same has to be, balance loss for a long term capital loss cannot be set off against short term capital gains or any other. So long term with long term. Okay. Balance brought forward loss of 20,000 cannot be carried forward because 8 years have expired. So this will be okay. This is easy. We have completed the second sum also. Now let's go to the third one. Sanjay owns a house property whose municipal value, fair rent are given below. So this is municipal value, fair rent, whichever is higher. Compare it with standard rent, whichever is lower. So you will take 1 lakh 8. During the financial year, 1/3 of the portion was let out. How much was let out? Only 1/3. LOP. Okay. For a monthly rent of 5,000. So 5,000 into 12 is how much? 60K. Municipal tax of 11% on the municipal value. This is municipal value. So you will take into 11% divided by You'll get 3520. How did I do it? See, municipal taxes into 11%. Divide by 3 because only 1/3 is there. For GAV, so if 1/3 is LOP, can I say remaining 2/3 is SOP? Obviously. What is the earning capacity, gross annual value of a SOP? 0. It will be 0. Okay. So now let's go ahead. So this why, see, when I'm reading the sum only, I'm making my note so that there is clarity in what to do ahead. The construction of the house began in 2019, was completed in 31/5/2022. Now you should count. Construction should be completed in 3 years. So 19, 20, June 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 completed. Vikas took a loan of 1 lakh on 1/7/19 and for the construction of the building. He paid interest on loan at 12% per annum. And every month such interest was paid. So they are saying basically he has paid the interest. But you should remember, even if he has not paid the interest, it is accrued, still he will get a deduction. Compute the income. Okay, let's go. So can I say if it is income from net annual value? 0. That's what we saw. Okay. Now, interest on loan. That first let's do SOP. Properly we'll do SOP. So interest on loan, you will get how much is the interest on loan. Let's calculate together. The construction of the house. So it has, the construction of the house has to be completed in 5 years. Okay. Now it has to be completed in 5 years. The house is already completed in 5 years. You can make out 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Way before that. Okay. So now let's see construction of the loan and how much Vikas has taken a loan of. But it is Sanjay's house. Who has taken a loan? Vikas. It should strike you that if it is my house, only I can take a loan. Okay. So now you see here he paid the interest on loan at 12% per annum. But let's calculate. Okay. So you will get the deduction over here, but it should strike you that someone else has taken the loan for me. Interest for the year 1/4/2024 to 31st March, that will be for the current year. Pre-construction period interest. Now this is very important. Okay, I get even for the construction period before. So from 1/7/2019 to 31st March 2022, that is the pre-acquisition period interest. Before the house was even constructed, a loan was taken. See, for the year 22-23, I'll get a deduction because the house is there. I can take a deduction of the interest. But what, the house is not constructed, and how I can take income from house property? So let us see pre-acquisition period interest. So 1/7/19 to 31st March 20. Okay, that is how many months? July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March. 9 months. So for this year, I'll take 9 months interest, 9 by 12 into 1 lakh into 12%. So 9 divided by 12 gives me 9,000. Okay. Now, pre-acquisition period interest is 9,000, of which SOP will be 2/3, 1/3 is LOP. Let's take this first. Let's do this full period. So then from 2020, 21, 21 to 22. So 2 more years. Can I say it is 12,000 rupees per month, per year? That will be how much? 9 plus 24. 33. Okay, now divide it as LOP, SOP. 1/3 is 11,000. SOP is 32,000. Pre-acquisition period interest. You can take a deduction, divide by. Okay. Pre-acquisition period interest is always divide by 5. Now let's go back to my sum. Everything will be 1/3, 1/3. Okay. So your annual value for that house so municipal, see, if you see here, I have done everything is 1/3, whichever is higher. Okay. Then compare it with standard rent, whichever is lower. Expected actual rent received is 60,000. Your gross annual salary, this will be this much. 3520. How did I get 3520? See, we did it here. Okay. Get 3520 here. When you take municipal taxes, divide by 3 for your. Okay. Now, net annual value is 56480. Standard deduction 30%. Interest on loan I have not taken. Okay. Why? Because the loan has to be taken by the same person. Now, you can make a note and please note it. According to me, this could be a typo, but please see who has taken the loan, and that is why you will not do any of this. But I have still done it to show you if it was the same person who had taken the loan, then what you would have done. Then you would have taken obviously pre-acquisition period interest, current year interest, all of it. And where all it would have come? Okay, so all of these small things, very important to read the question correctly. See, it would have come here, interest on loan. Okay, here you would have written interest on loan. You'd taken 12K and whatever that 11,000 divided by 3. But since the loan was only not taken by the same person who's bought the house, none of this will come. Okay, 11K divided by 5. Pre-acquisition period interest plus current year. Okay, and current year would again be divided by 3. This, whatever is the answer, divided by 3. Okay. Anyway, let's go to question number 3. The particulars given below are of Mr. Ramaswamy's income for, and his age is 57 years. The particulars given below of Mr. Ramaswamy's income posted in JK Swami Private Limited. So he is working in a company, and this is his income. Basic pay 30,000 per month till January. Okay, so can I say this is nothing but income from salary? Obviously. Okay, easy. Then next one is dearness allowance 30% of basic. Okay, this is also easy. Dearness allowance, this is also income from salary. Employer's contribution to recognized provident fund. Okay, and it matches the same contribution that the employer is making. So employee's contribution from his tax salary, same thing the employer is also making. So employee is making, that is okay. What the employer makes has to be max 12% of the salary, basic salary. So it is 30,000. What is his basic? Into 10. No, into 35,000 from Feb and March. He got 2 months salary 70,000 and remaining 3 lakh 30. Three lakhs for 10 months. So it will be 3 lakhs. And for the remaining 2 months, he got 70K. So his total salary is nothing but 3.7 lakhs into. Okay. Now he's also got dearness allowance 30% of basic into 30%. That comes up to 1 lakh 10. 111. Okay, I'm just doing simple maths over here. 111. Okay. Now, employer's contribution. Forget employee's contribution. This we don't care. Employer's contribution, which is matching, is 72. But now we know it has to be max 12% of salary. What is salary? Basic plus DA. And DA we have to take RDA only. Retirement dearness. So you'll take 3.7 plus retirement is how much? 111. This is DA. What you took over here? Divide by 2. 50%. So it will be plus 55,000. Correct? So let's add that 3,70,000 plus 55,000 into 12% comes to 51060 only. How much it is coming up to? Into 12. 51060. Okay. But he has got paid way more. So the extra amount will be taxed. Okay, leave encashment is given. He also received a salary for the month of April in advance without dearness allowance. So how much salary did he receive? 35K. That will be added. Also, he received an arrear for the month of March on the same day, assuming it is taxed on due basis. So it is already taxed. See, the word used here is due basis. So it is already taxed. The employer also spent 74,000 as a refresher course for upgrading Mr. Ramaswamy's skills. If the employer is paying for your training, you don't have to worry about it. Motor car owned and driven, and engine capacity within 1.6 liters. Used partly for official, partly personal. 46,000. So now how much is he bearing? So it is 1800 or 2400. So we'll take 1800 into 12. That will give me 25,000. Okay, but he has already paid more expenses. How much expenses has he incurred? Running and maintenance borne by the employer. Okay, so 41, 46,600 is what is borne. Allowed is only 25k. With the maths, what is allowed is only 1800. So remaining is going to be taxed. Compute the taxable salary. Seems easy. Let's put it in our table. Basic pay, we did it already. Okay. Employer's contribution 72. Exempt is basic plus RDA. 12% of salary. This is salary. So you get it. Leave encashment as it is. Advance salary you will put in areas of salary. Already taxed because it was on due basis. But if it was on receipt basis, you would have added it. Refresher course, anything that the employer pays for your training, you don't have to be taxed on it. Motor facility, we already did the maths. 1800 into 12 minus 46,600. So that will be 25,000. 1800 into 12 is what is allowed. They have spent 46.6. Okay, we'll get this. Gross salary less standard deduction is only 50,000. Okay, now assuming he is already in the old regime. Let's go to the next one. Prakash, 41, who's a resident, is a person with disability and he himself is disabled. So then he will be taxed. He will get a deduction under 80U. Correct? How much deduction? Under 80U. Below 80%. If it is below 80%, he'll get 75. If it was above 80%, under 80U, he will get 1,25,000. Dividend from domestic company, it will be taxed. Okay. Interest on government securities, all of this is income from other sources. Honorarium from school of orphanage for giving part-time service. He donated 20,000 to a school which is approved as charitable institution, and now if it is a charitable institution, you know it will be, you will get a deduction under 80G for donation, but it will be under the fourth head, and the fourth head is what? Subject to limit, and you have to find the limit, and whatever it is within the limit or 50%. 2,000 to Prime Minister Relief Fund, 100% without limit. He deposited 20,000 PPF, 80C deduction allowed. He also paid 3,000 by credit card as premium medical insurance policy for his son, 80D allowed. His father is also a person with disability below 65%. Again, if a person is disabled and you are taking care of the person, you will get a deduction of 75,000, and is dependent on him for medical treatment. He spends 8,000 rupees for him during the year. Okay. Because he's already getting 75,000, doesn't matter if he's spending anything more. You can't get a separate deduction again. Okay, compute total income, assuming that he has not opted to the new regime. So he will get all deductions. Okay, let's go. Okay, dividend from domestic company, interest, we saw all of this will be taxed. Okay, then deductions, provident fund, medical insurance, dependent father, donations. Now donations, let's see how to do it. For this you will get orphanage. Remember I said you have to find out AGTI first. Adjusted gross total income. So what is adjusted gross total income? excluding other 80s. So you will take your gross total income 2,74,000 less 20,000 less 1,000. So your other 80s except for 80G. So when I do it, I get 101,000. What all did I take? This minus this, this, and this. These two I will not take because they are under 80G. Now, what is your limit? Your limit is 1,01,000. Okay. How much has he given? So allowed is 50% of this limit. 50% of this limit is how much? 50. Okay. This much, but he has given more. How much has he given? Orphanage school. Okay, so he will get max this deduction. Subtract all of this, total deduction 93,950. Got it? Or what did I do? I subtracted all the deductions which are allowed. What was important here? AGTI concept. Okay. What is AGTI? Gross total income less all the 80s. Okay. 50% subject to limit. So this is your limit which is set. You cannot give more than this. Now let's go to the third. Manish purchased 1,000 listed shares of rupees 10 each at 100 per share. Okay. From a broker on 4th May 2016. He paid 3,000 as brokerage. So this expense he can take. On 15th March, he was given bonus. Bonus means free shares. So cost of acquisition for bonus shares is 0. By the company on the basis of 1 share for every 2 shares held. So how much bonus did he get? He had for bonus. Okay. For 1 share for every 2 shares held. So he'll get 500 shares as bonus. Bonus is 1 is to 2. So he's holding 1,000 shares. So how much will he get? 500 shares. He got bonus. Okay. On the same date, he was given right to acquire 1,000 shares at 90 rupees per share. He acquired 50% of the shares. So this is bonus. He got right shares. How many? He acquired 50% of the shares. From 1,000 right shares, he acquired 50. That means he acquired 590 rupees. Correct? 50% and sold the balance 50% of the right entitlement for a sum of 67,500. So this is, he didn't sell shares. He sold his right. So if I am getting shares at 90 rupees, I can sell my right to someone else. I can give my right to someone else, and I gave it for 67,500. Okay, the right shares were allotted to him on 30th April. That is in the next financial year. All the shares held by him were sold on 24th September. Now, at 280 rupees through a recognized stock exchange. Compute the taxable income for assessment year assuming FMV for the above shares is 150 rupees per share. Okay. Now, can you tell me how many types of shares are there? The first one is the original shares that I acquired. Then there is bonus shares that I got. And then there is right shares. There are 3 types of shares and 1 right entitlement. Right entitlement I can ignore for the time being. I will make the same. So can I say original shares? right shares, bonus shares. Original, right shares, bonus shares. Full value of consideration. I sold everything at 280 rupees per share. Okay, this is my full value of consideration. Are you okay? You're getting it? Less cost of acquisition. This, how much did I purchase it for? My original shares. Let's see. 1,000 shares at from a broker. He paid 3,000 as brokerage. So he paid 1,000 into 100. 1 lakh less 3,000 is my cost of acquisition. Now, assuming as on 31st January 2018, the above shares, the FMV is 150. So you'll take cost of acquisition, very important. Cost of acquisition you'll take 150 FMV or cost of acquisition, that is 100, whichever is higher. Whichever is higher. So I will take 150 over here. 1,50,000. Okay, same thing. For my cost of acquisition for each one, it will be 150. So 150 into 500. Sorry, for right shares. Again, for right shares, it will be okay. So you will take FMB here. Now, when did the right shares come? Right shares were on 2024. So you don't have to take this. You have to take only if it is before. Okay. $16. So that is why they have given you this. Now for my right share, I already know it is 90 rupees per share. I take it, I get your short term capital gains. This will also be short term capital gains. This also is nothing but short term capital gains related to my shares. 1,30,000 is my long term capital gains. Okay, so the long term capital gains in excess of 1,25,000 shall be taken while computing tax liability on capital gains. So this you should know, if it is a long term capital gains, excess of 1,25,000 you will have to pay. So first 1,25,000 is allowed as a deduction. Okay. The remaining short term capital gain 67,500 plus 95,000 plus 1,40,000. Okay. So the total capital gains I can take, these three will be short term capital. Okay. And the total capital gains is over here. Add everything and you will get it. Okay. Now let's go to the last question, question number 4. Gangotri Limited files its return of income on 15th December 2024. This is on return of income. On 15th December 2024, on 2nd March 2025, the accountant of Gangotri realized that he had forgotten a genuine business expenditure. He wants to file revised return on 2nd March to claim such expenditure. Now this is very important. This is for which year? For assessment year 24. This is the assessment year. Okay, so I am talking about the previous year, 31st March 24. Okay. 15 December 24, and he filed it on 15 December. On 2nd March, the accountant wants to file a belated return. Now it should strike you that you cannot do any change prior to 3 months. Prior to 3 months from end of relevant assessment year. So basically, when was the last date? 31st December was the last date to make any changes. Okay. So basically, you can remember it like that. 3 months prior to the relevant year. Can he make it? I don't think so. The due date is 31st October since it's a company. However, it is filed a return on 15/12, which is a belated return anyway, paid a penalty and filed it 5,000 rupees. Okay, if any omission is there, being date 3 months prior to this. So 31st December. However, it cannot file a revised return on this since it is beyond 31st December. Hence, it is not valid. It cannot do it. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Raghuveer has 2 minor children. Now, minor children, it should strike you, clubbing of income will come. In whose hands? In the hands of the parent who is earning more. Master A is a child artist, very good child artist, he can earn his own income. Master B, he is suffering from a disease. If he is suffering from a disease, father can make provision for such a child. The income of both minor child A and B are as follows. Income from stage shows to his own income. Income from bank interest. This can be clubbed. Whatever he earns on his own, it will be his income. But whatever is there as some other form, that is the father's, it will be clubbed. Income from dividend from domestic company, income from bank interest, same thing. Okay, so let's go. It is clubbed with the income of the parent who's earning higher. Now, since there is manual work or skill knowledge, then there is no clubbing for the income that he earns through that, through talent, experience, etc. Income of minor child suffering from disability will also not be clubbed with the income of his parent. In fact, he will get a deduction of 1500 per child. Okay. Now, so 1 lakh earned from stage shows, taxable in the hand of the minor child. Interest, it will be clubbed with the income of Raghuveer. Why? Because it is not related to the talent. Okay. Now, if it is a person who is a child who is having any form of disability, it will all incomes will be his. So income from dividend of a company, income from bank interest, all taxed in the hands of the minor child. Okay, and he'll get a deduction of 1,500 per child. Persons required. Okay, let's go to 4C. This is fast. Which are the persons required to mandatorily file a loss return? As per section 80. 1 5-mark question, grab it, very easy. Okay, theory question. A person having the following losses and wants to take benefit in the next year for carry forward has to file its loss return. Even if it is a loss, you have to file a return. Business loss, speculative business loss. Okay, normal business loss or anything to do with speculative business loss. Even if you have a specified business and you're opting out of the old scheme, new scheme, you have to file. So anything related to business, if it is a loss, file your return. Loss from capital gains and loss from owning and maintaining of horse races. If you do not file, this cannot be carry forward. These losses cannot be carry forward. Business loss, speculative business loss, loss from specified business, loss from capital gains, and loss from owning and maintaining any horses. Okay. Chalo, let's go to the next. These were 4A. On 9 January, Amit, a bank employee, received 6 lakhs towards interest on enhanced compensation. It should strike you. Interest on enhanced compensation because his land was taken over by the government and he was given money. This is income from capital gains. So this interest he will be allowed. This is income. But how much it is, how much deduction is allowed? 50% of the interest on loan. 50% interest on loan from enhanced compensation allowed as a deduction. Okay. Out of the interest, 2,50,000 relates to financial year 17-18, 1,65,000 for the financial year 18-19 and 1,85,000 to the financial year 19-20. He incurred 50,000 by way of legal expenses. Okay. How much of interest on enhanced compensation would be chargeable to tax for the assessment year 25-26? That means for the financial year 24-25. The entire amount that he has received will be taxed in the year of receipt. Entire amount will be taxed in the year of receipt. So 6 lakhs is received. He will get a deduction of 6 lakhs. Full amount, interest on capital gains, interest on enhanced compensation allowed as a deduction on the year when you receive it. Okay. Easy. Let's go to the next one. Examine the applicability of TDS or TCS. Easy. He sells 2 cars costing 4 lakhs and 12 lakhs. It should strike you. If it is selling 2 cars, the first car, because it is less than 10 lakh rupees, not subject to TCS. Subject to TCS will be only the car which is more than 10 lakh rupees. That is 12 lakh rupees will be subject to TCS. 1% TCS. When he has to collect this 1% TCS? At the time when he is selling the car, when he is receiving the money. Okay. Mrs. Anjana has furnished her PAN and filed a return. Okay, very good. So this TCS she can claim as a deduction. When will she claim deduction? %, value exceeds consideration of 12 lakhs, full amount pay, you have to take 1% TCS, that is 12,000. Okay, let's go to the next one. M&O paid interest of 75,000 plus paid rent of 75,000 plus 18% per month to Rakesh for the office premises from 1/4 to 31st March. Rakesh has furnished his PAN and also filed his return of income before due date. Okay, so he has filed on rent, except for rent which is about 2,40,000 in aggregate. So you have to collect TDS. TDS is how much? 10% of rent is required to deduct tax under section 194. 10% of rent. So 75,000 per month into 12. That is 9 lakhs. So obviously he has to deduct TDS on 9 lakhs. That is 90,000 and paid to the government. Okay. Very good. Done. Let's go. This is all small easy question. Examine the tax implications. Government of India has appointed Ramesh as an ambassador in Sweden. He received a salary of 7 lakh 50 and allowance. See, if allowance is what? Staying allowance, driving allowance, eating allowance abroad. This is not going to be taxed. Allowances for foreigners. He's been appointed as an ambassador in Sweden, not taxed. But this, even though he's received money outside India, it is deemed, salary is deemed to receive because it is paid by the government to receive in India and will be taxed in India, only salary. Okay, irrespective whether his citizenship is non-resident or resident. Narayan, a non-resident India, has earned 3 lakhs as a royalty for a patent right made available to Rajkumar. Okay. Who is a non-resident? Very good. He's a non-resident in India. So Narayana is a non-resident in India, has earned 3 lakhs for a patent made available to Raj Kumar. So he's a NRI who is a non-resident. Raj Kumar has utilized the patent for development of a product in India. Now, if it is product in India, it is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Why? Because it is used for something in India, but it was outside India. Then it will not be taxed because it was paid outside India, non-resident for something outside India. So here it will be taxed, both the cases. Royalty payable by a non-resident would deem to accrue or rise in India in the hands of the receipt only when such royalty is paid in respect of any right property or business carried on by such non-resident from any source in India. In the present case, Raj Kumar, a non-resident, paid the royalty of 3 lakhs for patent use for development of a product in India. Because it is in India, the same would be taxed in India in the hands of the recipient. Irrespective of the fact, the full 3 lakhs would be taxed here. 50% is received in India, does not. Okay. With this, we complete your entire tax paper. If you see, the first few questions may be lengthy, so don't get overwhelmed. Question 4 was very easy. Okay. The first question may be lengthy, but as I said, if you break it down and you do within your chapter itself, within your question itself, like how we were writing it, it becomes easy. You will get steps for the format, for the sums, for everything. So don't worry about that. Okay. Thank you guys.